Leo, welcome back for your December reading. For those of you who are new, welcome. If you're wanting a booking, you can go to the link directly below. Otherwise, we'll get straight into your reading. Now, in the area of your health this month, you guys are going to... It may be that you're actually going to hear something. So it could be communication is going to be open, but it's also you're going to really have to pay attention to your intuition. Now, you do have the crown chakra as well. So it's anything in an aspect of your communication style. You're going to need to balance the way in which you communicate and not get triggered, as well as using your intuition but not going insane during the process. So I'll try and hyperlink it into the rest of your reading so you understand how it directly relates. But in the chakra areas between your throat chakra and your crown chakra, so increase the intake of liquid, eat blue food groups connected to your throat chakra. You can also use meditation to balance the two and keep them at a correct frequency through the month. Now, when it comes down to your wealth, it can be internally the way you feel abundant, how we directly attract the wealth into our life, and what in a 3D level we're actually utilizing the cash on and how we're manifesting it in. So we'll have a look at that area. Why do I want the relationship I want? So it's in reverse. It may be for some of you, you're looking at the relationship with your finances and you're going, okay, you know, do I have a good relationship with my finances? Do I feel internally abundant, or at a 3D level, do I feel abundant? And it can be that you're in two minds about that. It's also you feel having money at times is a curse and having it is a curse as well. So it kind of is like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So many of you are going to be weighing up the pros and cons of the benefits and the fall downs as to what way to go when it comes to income, employment. You know, I'm hearing don't sell your soul to the, you know, to the money, so to speak. So it's like it feels as though you're pulled in two directions. It also feels that, romantically speaking, when you are feeling balanced, finances flow very well, or it could be that financially a relationship is impacting your wealth at the moment, and that's a direct problem for you. It can be that there is a lack of communication within this, of the breakdown of where the money's going, and you're holding this internally inside you whilst looking at it, and it's like you're carrying that internal burden. So again, it does come down to your communication and having it in a healthy way where this person actually doesn't even know that this is going on, but it's a frequency that's going through you and you're like, yeah, I'm not really happy about this. It's making me feel uneasy. But your intuition and you evolving, when you evolve beyond that point, what you're going to find is you're going to be able to manifest that cash component in more. But sometimes the universe removes it if our power hasn't been taken to a point where we can manage that frequency. Money sometimes can actually be removed to make us deal with the art of healthy boundaries and communication, so that we can learn that aspect and we can have that finance come in of a necessity level without us having the ego involved and then us becoming like a bank. Now, when it comes down to your happiness, so the advice would be for the wealth, balance the chakras, try and keep the communication open. And when it comes to a 3D situation of wondering what way to go, I feel you're going to be weighing up the pros and cons this month in relation to what is worth your time and what isn't at a financial and emotional level. Now, when it comes to your health, your happiness, sorry. Realizing that we're all connected, I came as an extension of source energy. Now, you're the first person who's actually, well, first group who've actually got this card, even with my clientele. Now, when it comes to it, again, considering you have the crown chakra, aspects of ascension and awakening, you know, being in that aha moment, you knowing that everything that, you know, everyone has the good and the bad. Everyone gets the good and the bad. You have your good days, you have your bad days, you have your healthy days, you have your days when you're sick. You have this aspect of awareness of it, but you also realize that people around you are happy and that not one of us is immune to it. So your aspect of happiness I do feel some of you had been looking outside of yourself, and now you're coming back into source inside yourself, and you're realizing that in order for you to be happy, you're doing the internal work connected to it, and it is a transformation, okay? So through that transformation, it may feel that the frequency is a lot nicer, and most of the year has really been in retrograde, so it is feeling not as heavy as it has done, because the frequency was getting really old. You were actually feeling fatigued and aged, regardless of your actual age bracket. You were feeling 20 years older than you did, and this is due to a lot of transformation that you were undergoing. Also, the aspects of the finance, the emotions, and the trigger points that you were purging, it's made you feel tired. So try and go easy on yourself this month, because I do feel you will be pulled left and right. You may have a bit more energy, but you're still going to be recouping. So try and pace yourself. What you're not seeing, what we're not seeing, Leo. Okay, the essence of my every desire can be fulfilled. Now, this is in reverse for you guys. So it may be that what you're not seeing, your belief system might be that connections make you happy. That is going to end. Now, it doesn't have to be that the physical connection is ending. It's more the mindset, because it's the unseen. And again, purple, crown chakra, an aha epiphany moment. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because we have the hope, but it's blinded, right? And the death card. So the end of ignorance, it can be the purging of the ego, moving beyond that, having that aha moment in your life where you're going, oh, okay. Now, when you get to that point, it's almost like, especially if you've had relationships, okay, you know, some people have been blessed, and I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, but it's like one common relationship. Other people have experienced the ebbs and the flows of the waves of relationship styles. In moving through that, like a dance, it can feel like a, what would the word be? All I'm hearing is mission impossible. I've got that song in my head, and it's like, you know, you're moving through the matrix and you're like, wow, this person's different. You have the aha moments because you're in it and you think, wow, I've learned so much from this, good and bad, because that's the way it goes. Life's like a box of chocolates, as they say. The hope that you have is that one day you will do the 360 and everything will just flow beautifully. It does, but it does come from within. So, you know, there will be, with any person you have, the good and the bad at varying degrees. But if you have your moral compass inside very grounded, you won't require the hope, because you're giving the hope to self. So the unseen, the epiphany, the crown, is all connected to you having a realization of self, of how much power you actually have in your life. So it's the end of the aspect of the ego attacking your belief system, telling you that you have absolutely no control over this spaceship Houston. Now, any actions that you're going to be guided to take this month? Your cards are really interesting. My attention to unwanted can't defy the laws of attraction. So again, the aha, it's like, oh, if I'm bouncing this frequency, universe is going to be showing it to me. So even in the mirroring effect, stop and meditate in the life around you right now. Not just relationships, I mean friendships, family members, co-workers, children. Stop and have a look in their life and see little things that directly relate to previous events in your life. And it's going to be very miraculous how synchronistic some of these things are. Especially in twin flame journeys, we look at the aspect of the mirroring, but this is for everybody collectively, because collectively we're going through a transformation. Now, generally what happens is twins tend to have awakenings, or empaths. Even if you wanted to look at it from a spiritual point of view, there's groups and tiers of humans. As they kind of evolve, they have these aha moments, and then they go to hell and back, and then it kind of drags the rest of us to that point where we're all evolving. Now, moving into the age of Aquarius, we're all going to be undergoing this aspect. So for you, I feel you're moving through this quite quickly. Now, for some that aren't used to that transformation, which most that are doing it in a very intense fashion, it can feel very uneasy. And for you, I'm feeling this to be quite relevant. So I'm hearing this is in relation to work. It's also connected to past tense situations and a passion and a dream you have. But something in your 3D life is telling you stay humble, stay small. But universe is asking you to be a bit larger than life. Now, it is overwhelming. It's overwhelming, but you're looking at your 3D life and you're thinking, okay, manifestation of anything you want, you know you have the ability to do, but we also have the aspect to manifest that of which we don't want, which is almost to prove to ourselves that, see, I tried, it didn't work. When we do that, it is an aspect of self-sabotage. We can have both these frequencies no matter who we are. So we can have the aspect where we can move into it and we can go, I tried, but it didn't work, and go, okay. Then it can be connected to timing. It can be connected to the approach technique, or what have I learned that I can do differently so that doesn't happen. So it depends on glass half full or glass half empty notion. However you want to look at your life, you can change the perspective and change the channel. So if you can change the channel, it's not going to be hard work. Now, when it comes through, which I've mentioned in the other video, so obviously this month is going to be a very large month for manifestation. If you're wanting to manifest, what you got to understand is if you have the ego of the mind directly in connection, so generally it's more the third eye, I wouldn't say the crown, the third eye and the crown. If you're manifesting from that and the heart chakra, what happens is you get the yin and yang. So you actually get exactly what you're wanting, especially the stronger you actually tune into it. Tesla connected the dots of fine-tuning it to a point you can visually see it. Now with his situation of, I'll explain briefly why his came to fruition in a more natural dynamic. Now, he really did isolate himself quite a bit. He directly didn't have any connections to him, I believe. When I talk about connections, I mean more of a romantic nature. Now, for him personally, he may have experienced a point where the ego could have transformed more so that it would have changed his perspective and his ego. Now, the ego was formed from childhood. It's there, so to speak, but it can get damaged and molded through that process. For him, at a heightened degree, he may have theoretically been able to manifest at a higher frequency without the impact of the ego because he was quite, sighted, so to speak. But when we have triggers and blocks, which especially with this face, there's lots of eyes, lots of thoughts, lots of mind over matter issues going on here. And almost like, wow, a bit too much. Now, the sorrow you've got to deal with. That's the ego, right? That got to do the work. If you do that, it can be for some of you guys that you are going to feel like you've been a slave to a situation as well as get a job so that you can move your life forward. So it does feel two subject matters. It also feels a reality check and what you're needing to do to move yourself out of a 3D situation. So for those of you who this is relevant and what's unseen is, hey, a tower moment has happened. If this is directly relevant for you and you've had to use your intuition, you've had to communicate, money's gone by the wayside and you're like, wow, I'm sad I put so much effort into this. However this directly relates to you, haven't got into the love section yet, I've got to go back to work. For some of you, it can simply be in relation to any hopes and dreams. Instead of looking at something that didn't come about, turn it and alchemize it into something positive where you can utilize that as a reference check to go, I won't do that and that, but maybe I could do it this way and this way. And then you're fine-tuning it. You're actually eliminating what doesn't work to show what does. Now, when it comes to the couples, let's have a look at you guys. For some reason, you're feeling vulnerable in this connection. And again, it can be due to finances. It can be due to a frequency you're picking up. But something in the world between you two is changing. Now, the world can be a 360. Again, it can be an ending. I'll just say it. Doesn't have to be a complete ending, but it can be an ending in a way that you can't go back to the way it was before. Something's changed, but I am feeling it's you. Because the frequency of what I'm picking up is it's you who does not like how certain things are. So therefore you have changed. Even if we don't want to change, we're always changing. So in a sense, you can't go back to the way you were because you've had the epiphany moment now. And you're going, something isn't working right. I've physically changed. So communicating that is important. As well as using your crown to have that adulthood about it. And any trigger area that's coming up, perhaps in a sense of have you attracted it by fearing it? Have you attracted something by not wanting to face certain aspects of life where it felt safe? So it's prevented you from having to, it's assisted you with not having to deal with some things. It's going to relate to how it relates to you personally. Otherwise you would have to book a personal reading. Now, when it comes down to it, something in the connection is making you feel vulnerable and something within the world of the relationship is changing. Now, in the past, there were a lot of delays and it might have been, oh, you know, things are flowing. It's okay. It's quite safe now. But then things were moving forward and things move forward very quickly. Now, through that fast-tracked energy, it might have been that things moved faster than you actually anticipated, which your intent was, this feels great. But then it's like it did a 360 and it went 50 miles an hour when it was doing 2 miles previously. Now, you're going to have to really, really use your intuition. I feel you're beating yourself up. You sort of feel as though some of it was, hey, you wanted it, and then you were in and you were like, oh, you know, what have I created here? It's almost like when a parent's excited and they're like, oh, I want a baby. And then they have the baby and they're like, oh my God, this child's a monster. Just an example. But it's like you love them because they're yours. You know what I mean? Something's changed though. It's probably a real poor metaphor. I'm a parent, don't get me wrong, I adore my daughter. Okay, there's some aspect of temptation here. Now, it may be for you to believe that nothing's changed, but something has changed. You know, in a frequency level. Some of you might be kept up at night meditating on this and thinking on what to do. Now, in the past, it was going so slow. You wanted things to move fast because a previous situation perhaps didn't turn about the way you wanted it to. And, you know, it had been that you were quite lonely. And it can be in the past things were so slow, it did make you feel lonely, connected to friendships, connected to family. It might have been dynamics that weren't balanced, however this directly relates. But I feel there may have been an aspect of loss or sadness. And for some of you, it might have been that you went into a new connection and, you know, you were hoping things would move faster to get you away of the old energy, but then you were in this new energy and it felt like it was moving way too fast, even though it was perhaps what you wanted. Now, some of you might be looking at contracts and legalities connected to this current situation. And it may be that they're really wanting to cement down and get this moving to the next level. And for you personally, that can be the change. That it's going from moving into engagement or moving into marriage or moving into babies. But I feel something in your world's changing, but your frequency is like, what the hell is happening? Now, again, your intuition. You're asking yourself, okay, are we in this for cash? Is that all this is? Am I helping? Or it may be that financially you need help. But you're going to get clarity on what this is. I'll pull another few cards. It can be that you're looking at the situation where the person isn't doing what you thought they would be doing or who they would be or perhaps what you wish to do. And you're looking back and you're like, man, how did I get in this? How has this got to this now? If this is someone that you've just recently met during, like, retrograde, I'm praying for you. Okay. You're just wanting a bit of independence. You're like, you know, this is driving me a bit crazy. Something hasn't turned out to be the way it should have been, okay? That's what I'm feeling. Now, it can be that you're going through a hard time at the moment. It's really causing a lot of stress, and you're just like, this is just all too much. At the moment, I'm going to leave it there for you guys. There's an odd frequency coming through with it. The in-betweeners, however, may elaborate. Now, the in-betweeners, those of you who are at a left-right, if couples are in two minds, or they're just going through a phase, which, hey, I hope you guys are going through a phase, and I hope you'll be fine. Otherwise, you can book a reading. If that's the case, great. If it's not, the people that are on the fence, we'll call them, I had started these a while ago, the fence sitters. I pulled 3 cards. Now, for those of you who are like left, right, do I pick A or B? Now, I can't tell you A or B because this isn't a private reading, but I can tell you what the fence sitters are saying. Your shadow aspect, number 1, is to be, you've got to let go of it. What you're fearing is what you're wanting. Now, you're going, Yildiz, what do you mean? Okay, if you're on the fence, what's that show? I'll have to remember the show and try and put it underneath it. You know where you never see the guy's face, and it's always he's at the fence level. And they're having this deep and meaningful, you know, it's 2 blokes and they're out in the garden. What's the guy's name? Anyway, when you're a fence sitter, you got one potential, you got the other potential. They're still roads regardless, right? Yes, okay, on this level, they're a physical being. They're a human being. Potential partner. The one that you're looking at that you want, but you're going, what if it doesn't work? It's because you're actually wanting it, but because you don't have a tick from universe saying, everything's going to be perfect, Leo. And look, all of us do this. It's like, ooh, do I weigh up the pros and cons? Is this risky? Everything's risky. Somebody said to me the other day, why would a person go back to a past tense person? You can look at it 3 ways. Usually people say 2 ways, but Yildiz has said 3. The old saying, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. The next thing you can say, you could get with another person, same thing could happen. Number 3, you could look at yourself, fix yourself, keep yourself grounded, and it won't matter what you pick. Then you can choose correctly because you know you have yourself grounded and you're actually choosing from a place of truth. So which one do you want to do? Now, the highlight of who don't you love? That's number 1. You know already who you don't and who you do. If you're staying for finances, because this is what's come through, sometimes we can be blocked from that perspective. Probably the wrong reasons to connect with a person. If you don't feel this person is a great spiritual connection, then you need to walk away. And that's for them and you. Now, those of you who are single, there's going to be a celebration. Now, this could be at a party, might be connected to a Libran. It can also be a time frame of a party that you actually meet this individual. Or it can be connected to a person who you're thinking in to right now, that this person physically, it's moving, you put a lot of work into it, again connected to a seed, something is growing. Now again, for last month, as I said in the previous video, I said October, but they're probably thinking, but this video is not in October. From October onwards, there was a lot of fertility, and that was probably even from September. So be very careful if you aren't wanting to fall pregnant. A lot of people may be falling pregnant around this time. Now, in the past, this person or you was getting to a point they were trying to smash a habit. Get to a point where they weren't tempted, they weren't working so hard, eating so much, drinking so much, playing the field, whatever it be. Something was imbalanced, okay? Now, in the present, there is a lot more balance and power here. This might be in your ball core or theirs. It's like there can be a lot more magnetic attraction and spiritual connection between the both of you. At the heart of the matter, both of you are stubborn as heck. I'm just going to say. Because both of you know each other very well. This is a past tense person. Okay. Ooh, guys. You have a past life connection with this person. Okay, now you're gonna, somehow you've got the power. The power in this relationship is coming back, okay? But you do have freedom. So it may be you've transformed, but there is a lot of power and draw and connect with this person. It's almost like a very tempting connection. Now, in the past, it was kind of push-pull. Might have been a bit to the point where you were really, really hopeful about everything was going to be a bed of roses. Everything was going to be great. The passion was intense. It still is. But the calming of that, where you're being more rational in your mindset, is calming and taming now. It may be that you retreated back, and now the way you're dealing with it is you have a bit of power in your ball court, in your mindset, and connected to the calm down of the frequency. You're trying not to get overwhelmed by the power, okay? You're also trying to be careful what you manifest in. The way you're looking at them is you're being very realistic. Oh, energy. You know what's funny? I literally, every time I record, I say to people, I'm recording, please don't message me. Okay, now, there, in the heart of the matter, there was disappointment. So you still have a very deep spiritual connection with this person. But regardless, I will say, you know this person very well, okay? Who they are is who they are, but it's going to be a swift change, and it's going to come in like no tomorrow. So you do have the key to their heart, and this is amping up a notch. Now, one thing I will say with readings, don't get triggered if, you know, scroll through YouTube, go through and have a look and look at the titles. When you're looking at the titles, see synchronistic pattern. When you're seeing that synchronistic pattern, don't get triggered if you think, oh, my knight in shining armor's coming. Where is he? When a frequency is sent out, it is similar to a manifestation. So if you're fearing something, you should never watch a video connected to that same subject matter over and over again. Be careful the videos you're listening to. Also, when it comes down to it coming to fruition, be mindful that times are directly associated. Sometimes within the reading, you can say within a week, it can be longer. Frequency-wise, I am feeling this is moving. I do feel for a lot of people, by the end of the year, a lot of things are going to be very different to what they currently are. So the planets in retrograde next year is far less than what we have had this year. So I'll keep you up to date with that. And again, those of you who are new, big welcome. Thank you for coming. If you do wish to follow, click the bell and you'll get the updates. And if you are wanting a booking, you can go to the link below. Talk later, guys. Bye.